All right. Escape from the City is playing. That's going to be the first thing that we're going to use. Can we escape from Tucker Carlson, everyone? Tucker Carlson's going to be in a GUN truck trying to chase us down. And we're going to see Big the Cat on the side of the highway. Everybody who hasn't played Sonic Adventure 2 in my audience is now wondering what the hell kind of drugs that I'm on. Okay. Tucker Carlson. I really don't want to give it a lot of context. I think I just want to play the video and see what he has to say. Come on, Tucker. Let's go. Play me the song of my people.
We did give in. This grotesque version of Halloween went on for more than a year, and it's still going on. Not even Tony Fauci still pretends that masks are medically necessary. Instead, masks are purely a sign of political obedience, like Kim Il-sung pins in Pyongyang.
So, wait, hold on. Tucker, masks are a sign of political obedience? No, see, even Fauci will tell you what masks are supposed to do. And here, I'll go ahead and explain it for those in the back who might not know. A mask is an article that helps out a shit ton when dealing with the type of pandemic that we're dealing with right now. For those who might not know, let me go ahead and explain what a mask does. So maybe Tucker, in the off chance that he actually sees this video, will understand what they do. Maybe. Just maybe, a little bit. So, the coronavirus, the COVID pill, the piece of crap that's been locking down all of society, this thing is a virus that exists on a scale of 1.5 to 3.5 microns in size. This is a very small thing. Very, very small. Now, a mask can prevent particles from getting through that are about anywhere between 2 and 4 microns in size. And higher, of course, obviously. Now, people like Tucker might argue that, aha, that means that the virus can slip through the mask. Except, here's the problem. The virus itself has to cling onto a water droplet particle. That water droplet particle then gets trapped in the mask because water droplets are generally over 5 microns in size. So even the smallest instances of the virus cannot move around freely unless they are attached to a bit of liquid. This is why it is so dangerous when you are sneezing or coughing or doing anything around, because you are literally spraying these particles out of your mouth onto areas that other people will then touch at various points in time. Even when you are speaking, there is liquid pouring and frothing from your mouth at various stages of the day. A mask, when you are in the middle of a pandemic that has a virus that operates in the way that we know COVID does, prevents the virus from escaping you. Now, do they protect you from other people? Generally, only in one instance, and that is the instance in which you might breathe in airborne particulates clinging to vapor. The mask will protect you in those instances, but generally only in those instances. I don't know how many times I have to say, the point of the mask is to prevent you from transferring the virus to other people. That is why they are an effective countermeasure during a pandemic. Because even if you don't know that you have the virus, because the virus has a 10 to 14 day incubation period, if every single particle that you are spewing out gets trapped by the mask, it doesn't matter that it's getting stuck. Or it doesn't matter that you don't know that you have the virus. It's going to get caught in the same fabric anyway. So, Tucker, I only heard 16 seconds of what you had to say, and I already had 3 minutes of shit to throw at you. Let's go ahead and hear some more.
We wear them because we have to. The only people who wear masks voluntarily outside are zealots and neurotics.
Zealots and neurotics. So if I merely don't want to infect people around me, then I'm a zealot or a neurotic. If I merely understand what a mask does, I'm a zealot or a neurotic. Okay.
How neurotic are they? Well, we know. A Pew survey from last March found that 64% of white Americans who classify themselves as liberal or very liberal have been diagnosed with an actual mental health condition.
Okay, so let's go ahead and have some fun with this one. Aside from the fact that it's an ableist claim. Aside from that, because we know that that information doesn't do anything to people like Tucker. Four-eyed Spooter, you said you don't even know what those two things are. So a neurotic person, let's go ahead and pull it up so that it is available for people to know. So I don't get things right. Neurotic. Somebody who has something related to neurosis. A neurotic person. So we go neurosis. Neurosis is defined as simply having a poor ability to adapt to one's environment. Wait, hold on. So somebody has a poor ability to adapt to their environment if they wear a mask to adapt to the environment where they are currently existing, where there's a pandemic? Tucker, I don't think you know how to use that word. Now, to be fair, I've got a very small and smooth brain. I don't know how to use that word either. It's why I looked it up on Google. Turns out I don't know the English language very well, even though I've spoken my entire life. Because that's how the English language works, unfortunately, especially here in the South. Yeah, this guy's a bit of an idiot. Also, we generally don't use the R slur around here because it, just like with what Tucker just said, tends to marginalize people. But yeah, he's a bit of an idiot. He is definitely a bit of an idiot. So, let's go ahead and have fun with the rest of his statement. So, people who are politically on the left tend to, and I'm taking this purely out of my ass, but I think this is the case, we tend to pay more attention to issues of mental health. We tend to pay more attention to medical issues in general instead of ignoring it, because we generally don't have the same Protestant work ethic structure that a lot of conservatives have. As a result, it can be very likely that there is an equal amount of mental health issues in both liberal and conservative spaces, but people in liberal spaces are more likely to be diagnosed because they are more likely to seek diagnoses. This is purely speculative. I'd like to see some numbers on this, and I don't have the wherewithal to pull them up right now, but that would be my argument here, is that it is more likely for someone who is on the left, generally speaking, to engage in issues of mental health a little more proactively. Maybe I'm wrong. If you've got data that shows that I'm wrong, then by all means, the comment section is a wonderful place for you to throw that information at me, and I can revise things if I need to, or even do a pinned comment. But I did want to say that that is a speculation pulled purely out of my butt, but I figured if Tucker Carlson's going to pull everything out of his ass, I may as well do the same thing too.
And you see them everywhere when you walk down the street in any major city. If you dare to go on foot from Union Station to the Capitol, for example, in Washington without wearing a mask, angry Biden voters will snort at you in judgment. How could you, they're saying.
Angry Biden voters. Because, of course, Tucker Carlson needs to have his us versus them.
From behind the gauze. How could you? That's the question we should be asking of them in return. The rest of us should be snorting at them first. They're the aggressors. It's our job to brush them back and restore the society we were born in.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what fascism is for a moment, everyone. Because we just got our first dog whistle. All right? Now, if you want a concise definition of fascism, then it's going to likely be palingenetic ultranationalism. Now, Tucker is in fact a nationalist, though I don't know if I'd call him an ultranationalist. And what does palingenetic mean? Well, having a mythologized past. He just called out to that mythologized past here. We need to restore the world that we were born into. Now, the world that Tucker was born into was largely a more racist world that had a much closer proximity to the era of Jim Crow. If he really wants that world reestablished, then I don't know what to do for him. Now, am I going to call Tucker a fascist? No. But am I going to point out that those tendencies do line up a little bit with that little bit dog whistle? Yes, I am going to do that. Because I think it's fair. If he wants to engage in the us versus them thing in the name calling, then why don't we go ahead and do that as well? For fun. But, in any case, angry Biden voters, restore the past that we came back to. Just... come on, Tucker. You can do better. Let's talk about restoring the glorious world. Let's talk about it.
So the next time you see someone in a mask on the sidewalk or on the bike path, do not hesitate. Ask politely but firmly, would you please take off your mask?
Now, why? Why would you ask that? Because structurally, here's the difference between somebody wearing a mask and somebody who's not. If I'm not wearing a mask, I am potentially a biohazard for you. But if I am wearing a mask, I am not a biohazard for you. What damage could I possibly be causing you if I'm wearing a mask? Except that it offends you. Now, Tucker Carlson's the type of person to largely call people who are liberal snowflakes. He likes to engage in this kind of rhetoric quite a lot on Fox News. They're liberals, they're snowflakes, they're weak, we were stronger back then, but what is this if not offense? In the exact same manner, in the exact same way, as he would accuse someone on the left. This is the same kind of offense. He's being a snowflake. And I think we should call him out on it. There was a voice break there. Go ahead and call me a non-masculine man, baby. I had my voice break, everyone. I did it live on air.
Science shows there is no reason for you to be wearing it.
Actually, science shows there's no reason for you to be wearing it for yourself. But it is incredibly useful for other people. But that's a fun little bit of omittance there. A little lie of omission from Tucker.
Your mask is making me uncomfortable.
Yeah, because you're offended. You're literally a conservative snowflake.
We should do that, and we should keep doing it until wearing a mask outside is roughly as socially accepted as lighting a Marlboro in an elevator. It's repulsive. Don't do it around other people. That's the message we should send, because it's true.
Because it's true. The mask is repulsive, and that is something to say to other people because it's true? Okay, dude, look, if somebody's wearing a medical mask around me, I'm not going to fucking rip the thing off. I'm not going to tell them not to do it. I will wholly admit I find masks to be very uncomfortable. I don't like wearing them. I'm not a giant fan of wearing them. But if I am out and about, with little exception, I have no problem wearing them to protect other people around me because we are in the middle of a pandemic. It's killed over 500,000 people in the United States. Why wouldn't I? I don't have a reason not to.
As for forcing children to wear masks outside, that should be illegal.
Really?
Your response when you see children wearing masks as they play should be no different from your response to seeing someone beat a kid in Walmart. Call the police immediately. Contact Child Protective Services. Keep calling until someone arrives.
So wait, hold on. I have a question, Tucker. Is it or is it not more likely that children will catch COVID? Because they are generally kept in tight-packed areas, they are generally around other children, usually in groups of about 15 to 30, depending on the size of their classroom, maybe even 45 if they're in poorer areas. Oh, there's a funny one. The poorer areas that are more likely to get COVID would then have more police going around constantly harassing them and trying to argue that people are engaging in child support. Tucker, is it maybe that the world you're trying to create ends up accidentally being more racist because those impoverished areas also tend to be populated more often by minority groups? Anyway, let's ignore all of the numbers for a minute. Let's just go ahead and talk about the statement on its face. Children are more likely to catch COVID. They are also more likely to shrug off the effects of it, but they end up being incubators to give COVID to other people. They're more likely to catch COVID not because they are children, but because they are exposed to more people on a day-to-day basis, especially in the school system. Them wearing a mask makes more sense than even some adults wearing masks, because they will have come in contact with enough people to where it is likely that they have it at some point. And because they are younger, it may actually even be the case that it's harder to even trace when they've got it. Because if their body is so efficient at fighting it off, which numbers do show children are more efficient at fighting off COVID in most cases when they aren't immunocompromised, that they could easily be effectively a little stealth bomb. A little stealth biohazard, if you will. Thank you very much, Knight of Ware 3, for the follow. Or not Knight of Ware, King of Nowhere for the follow. I misread that I misread that as much as Tucker Carlson misreads society on a day-to-day basis, and I'm terribly sorry for that. And Miyakota Storm has pointed out that this is just a reminder that Fox News themselves said that no reasonable person would listen to Tucker Carlson. This is true. They had a legal defense in court that no reasonable person would listen to Tucker Carlson, and that is their excuse for letting him stay on air and say the abusive things that he does. How's it going, Japanda? We are currently dunking on Tucker, who is saying very dumb things on the news. So, Tucker, continue saying dumb things on the news. You just talked about how we should report children wearing masks to Child Protective Services, right? Okay, just wanted to make sure that I'm following your insanity.
What you're looking at is abuse. It's child abuse, and you are morally obligated to attempt to prevent it.
And now, of course, that means that you get to shame people who don't engage in the abusive behaviors that he's trying to espouse.
If it's your own children being abused, then act accordingly. Let's say your kid's school emailed you to announce that every day after lunch, your 6th grader was going to get punched in the face by a teacher. How would you respond to that?
Probably the same way I'd respond to being stuck in an elevator with you, violently. But I will say this, Tucker, I will say this. There is no comparison between punching a child in the face repeatedly and being told to wear an extra article of clothing for a brief period of time. Brief period of time meaning, right now, a couple of years. If I was told that I only had to wear a shirt for the next couple of years, and then I would no longer be told that I had to wear a shirt for the rest of my life, well, I'd probably still wear a shirt because I'm kind of overweight and I don't want people seeing my giant man titties, but I'd have the opportunity to not wear that shirt. In a pretend society where not wearing a shirt was illegal. At least for guys. It is for girls in a lot of cases. Simpson minus Sun, thank you very much for the follow as well. But Tucker, I do gotta say, I don't want to talk about children being punched by their teachers. I don't. Because there's no comparison between that and what you're trying to argue. Though, yes, Tucker is arguing, Special and Robot has said that Tucker is a child throwing a tantrum to get his way. Well, if Tucker Carlson is a child throwing a tantrum, then why don't we go ahead and send him an email about a bunch of teachers punching him in the face? You know, it's his analogy. Use it.
That's precisely how you should respond when they tell you that your kids have to wear masks on the soccer field. That is unacceptable, it is dangerous, and we should act like it, because it is.
How is it dangerous, though? You failed to provide an argument as to why it's dangerous. You said that it was offensive to you, and now apparently being offensive is dangerous, and if that's gonna be your argument, you want to roll with it, then, you know, that's fine, but maybe be consistent when someone like me talks about the fact that certain racial slurs, for instance, are harmful, not just because they make people offended, but also because the material reality that manifests as a result of more people being desensitized to that. But anyway, Tucker, that's as much of your video as I'm willing to deal with. Everybody who has enjoyed this video, please do me a favor. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Let me know what your thoughts on Tucker Carlson's absolute inanity are in the comment section below if you are watching on YouTube. If you're watching over on Twitch, then you can do that in the live chat right now. With all that said, if you have not followed me over on Twitch, though, please consider doing so. And as always, everyone, there are links in the description of the video on YouTube for you to check if you would like to support my channel and what I do. And as always, everyone, thank you, and insert end of video tagline here.